That is right. Game 2 is here, and you said it best. They had to work so very hard at the end of that game to not only fight their way through just to get to the win condition, just to get to the opportunity, but they had 11 eliminations. They really had to control the entire layer, control the low ground, and turn that into victory royale. I am hard pressed to see if anyone can repeat that performance in that same fashion. It's going to be so difficult to do so. For Aegis, Kanata, obviously, they're bummed out about it, right? They're going to be upset about everything that unfolded there. They did not get that win. A second place is going to be painful every single time, especially when you had a med kit in your inventory and you just missed a beat at the very end. So, you know, these types of things are going to happen. They live, they learn, and we'll see what they can do if they can go for the repeat performance here and get another big end game and a potential win.
And again, it's not like they did something horrendously wrong either. It just came down to a matter of Cooper's got a better chance to sustain here off of the med kit. It is what it is at times. I would expect the mental fortitude of Kanata and Aegis in that situation to be pretty strong. And it's because of that the mental fortitude is really what can make a difference as well for this 5 set lobby format of just trying to secure a victory royale if you want that immediate qualification for the grand finals later on. But some of these teams just hugging the outskirts, MDF, and yes, they do manage to hold on for the most part, but there are circumstances where it almost feels like going too far to the edge of the map actually starts to work against you.
Yeah, it surely can, especially if the zone doesn't come this way. But you know, for Sharkman and Elsa, their points tell a different story. They're in 19th, so all in all, they've had a very good last game. They made it pretty far. Unfortunately for Bolts and Zooks, they were one of the first to get taken out. It does seem like Sharkman and Elsa are looking to repeat that performance here again right now. All you gotta do is hunt him out, and they're gonna go for the bounty board. Okay, so that'll likely give them all the information they need here. There's a team lurking nearby too, though. You can see just on the edge of the map there, someone looking in, trying to see if they can find some cheeky tags here, but it's just a matter of time. If Zook sticks around for any longer, I mean, he's just gonna become another statistic.
The problem though for Zooks is that, oh, hold that thought. I was gonna say Bolts might be trying to get Zooks' reboot card, and then potentially hope that maybe Sharkman and Elsa choose to leave Research Rock sometime soon. That way they could try, Bolts could try to utilize the reboot van here, but no, it's gonna be Bolts. He's forced to do a full retreat, but Sharkman unable to connect, and the grapple blade gonna be able to give Bolts a quick escape. Just really nothing that Elsa and Sharkman can do to try and chase that one out. But immediately, the initial drop, Elsa finds that Frenzy Auto. Zooks, just really not much left to be said. Sometimes you just need a shotgun blast in the face turning the wrong doorway corner.
For Clicks and Epic Whale, back on over to the Lavish Lair right now. But wait, there's action for Walkers in Shadow. So we didn't really get to see Walkers in Shadow in game number 1. He appeared in glimpses and moments and opportunities. This early game fight for them right now, not looking too good. It seems like they were beat to the drop somehow and they've been left in somewhat of a shambles situation. It maybe even tried to chase the team out here. So I could see them having the advantage and now going back to the Pleasant, right? To go ahead and take control of all the material, the loot, the route. And Shadow's just sitting back though. I don't know about how I feel about that now. He sits around a little too long, but you have more action happening everywhere here. So Threats and Duke back to this fight. This is a repeat of the first game here. Grand Glacier, Threats and Dukes did not finish this fight early by any means. It was another dragged out battle, right?
And these dragged out battles at the start of the match, not exactly the most detrimental, because it is a great opportunity, depending on how some of these teams choose to play it, to just look again for that opportunity. Surge tags, they are everything in these kinds of set lobby formats, and Peterbot, Poyo doing what they do best, just mercilessly attacking up against Baka and Pars. A lot of pressure having been applied to Baka. He's gonna have to take a moment to try and get his shield back up.
Ooh.
Massive shot, though, from Pars. That's a beautiful connecting piece there because now jobs up to Pollo to try and apply some pressure from above. He's got a slightly different angle than Peterbot, but knowing that Peterbot's going to be out of the mix for a little bit while he gets his shield back up, HP back up, and Baka doing a really solid job with this split up here from Peterbot and Pollo. Baka making sure that he stays within arm's reach, within a box, essentially, of Pars.
Yeah, Baka and Pars have a lot of lost time to make up for. They were one of the first teams to eliminate last game. They already have 2 eliminations this game, so they are off to a hot start. But you have Bugha and Aviv listening to all of this happening nearby. And the longer this goes on, the more likely they're going to feel confident about jumping in for this potential opportunity as well. Now, they, of course, are fighting on top of this cache here, but ultimately, I mean, the damage has been done on both sides, right?
For sure, and
Let's
another interesting factor. Yeah, and I don't blame him because the forecast tower is a serious deal to fight over. Bugha and Aviv might even be able to tip their hats towards this engagement if Baka and Pars or Peterbot and Pollo aren't able to close things out soon enough. But Baka, we saw him with only 1 or 2 shieldfish, and now down to none, only has those floppers in his inventory. Peterbot going to use his last medkit here, but he does have that forecast tower card. So Peterbot and Pollo, they just want the eliminations, but they need to find them fast before Bugha and Aviv have a real opportunity to try and pincer maneuver Peterbot and Pollo into this one.
Yeah, they're just looking in. I don't even think Bugha and Aviv have started firing just yet. They're probably waiting for an opportunity for the teams to reveal themselves to the outskirts, but there it is, the forecast tower secured. It seems like Peterbot's like, all right, I'm sliding now. And they're going to be more than content with that. And they know the team that they have to be fighting was good, because why else would it last that long, right? How could they get bested, essentially, in some of those exchanges there?
There's truly also no reason to really stick around at that point. Peterbot and Pollo probably bound to be more than aware of the fact that they were starting to draw attention of some other players in the lobby. Shonye, me too, though. Seems like they found a stray Bolt. So don't think that Bolt's rescue mission to reboot Zooks actually turned into a success there, gauging off of that last elimination. Match number 3 will have to be where Bolts and Zooks look to regroup, but Reet and Ritual, this launchpad could make for a pretty solid, just making sure to hang towards the outskirts, edge of the zone, maybe looking for maintaining plays towards the dead side, even.
Yeah, I think they're looking for a fight. I think they're looking for a team to find tags on. Yeah, look at Ritual diving straight down. Looks like he's going to target the player that was trying to fire at him, but hold up. Pump's cooking over here. He's just going to find a knock right now onto Caesar, but Sphinx is down too. Okay, so this is a exchange on both sides. I think there's another team rolling up on him. Yup, it's Jagveer and company. So this is all types of bad right now for not only Zemo and Caesar, but Jagveer and Sxhool are here to clean up house. They're not going to let any of these teams walk away for free by any means. This is essentially free food for them right now, and they're on the hunt.
Yeah, and even though Caesar and Zemo are able to find themselves with the revive situation, working as a duo yet again, just a direct comparison of what Jagveer and Sxhool are working with is a pretty drastic difference. We're seeing one team completely fresh, just about, but we don't know what their damage might necessarily look like. And that fight you were mentioning that Reet and Ritual were looking for, well, they definitely found it up against Chimp and Sears. It's now Reet trying to do what he can to just put some pressure onto Chimp's walls, but Ritual also making sure to maintain distance behind Chimp. It's that front and back aggression that catches Chimp off guard. Now it's going to be Cyrus who's fully exposed here. Reet does eat a massive exchange of his full shield, but Ritual immediately with the collapse finds the full elimination onto Cyrus. Now it's down to Chimp as a solo to try and make it out of here, but the odds of him collecting Cyrus reboot card for the time being, when Reet and Ritual are both lurking, practically impossible. So yeah, there's going to be Launchpad, Flurry Fizz, get him some massive space away from those two. But Chimp this is a really tough spot to be in for the mid game. Low on builds, not looking the best in terms of what kind of resources he has available to him, and now having to deal with Ritual and Reed at the bottom.
Another fight going on here. Big tags here for Walkers and Shadows so far. And there's another duo also listening in. Okay, so there are just no clean fights right now in the Fortnite universe here. Everything that's happening is going to come with a little give and take. It's Aviv and Bugha once again putting their opinions into the matter here, but not a single elimination for them just yet. So they've had opportunities, they had chances. If I had to guess right now, they're likely feeling about done with, you know, peppering teams with a couple tags. They want to get their hands dirty. And this is not feeling like it's going to be the battle for them. Look at this. They're going to actually back up. I'm curious to see if they've actually gotten enough tags, because they clearly don't have the eliminations to show for it.
Bugha and Aviv, I think, also just recognized the fact that that cash had long since belonged to Walkers and Shadow. And Walkers and Shadow, they're actually going to opt out as well. They don't want to continue wasting any more time with Dolzir and Maxo. Instead, it's going to be Walkers opting to farm some resources. Shadow a little bit split from his duo, but definitely still at a safe distance. And now we're back. A little bit more edge of zone action here. Asian Jeff, Oliver OG trying to hold their own up against the likes of 20 and Tyler. But with the way that Asian Jeff was moving in the last match, MDF, I would definitely never be one to count him out.
Yeah, we've seen Asian Jeff honestly just continue to find these truly excellent angles. Ooh, he continues to look for them right here, playing very clever, very sneakily. And this is what hours upon hours of Fortnite look like, right?
For sure. But I like this from Oliver OG as well. You got Asian Jeff kind of playing bouncer to your backside, so Oliver can just spend all of his time focusing on trying to secure them some surge tag damage from a different direction. And now with the spawn in of Rift Island, Crisp and Noxy alongside of Shadow and Walkers could see a little bit of a skirmish breakout here on top of the Rift Island.
Shots are coming down. Not gonna find anything here. Like you mentioned, they do have options right now, right, to play for. But this is a weird kind of spot to be in. It's Rift Island, but they have a hill naturally also positioned under them. So I'm not sure if they feel like it's even worth positioning up at, you know, even more and exposing themselves for a second there. So I'm not completely against the decision here, as Walkers and Shadow become the first team to claim it. Rift already cracked open, and oh, this team's coming for the fight.
Sid and Yuz, they're more than happy to try and rift into the top of Rift Island, hoping that it wouldn't be captured so quickly, though, probably, as Walkers gets that upgrade. It's just, Walkers and Shadow were quick with it, though. They didn't waste any time. The only ones who could have truly contended there would have been Crisp and Noxy, but like you've been talking about, I think part of the reason why Crisp and Noxy opted to just stay below is because they recognize the fact, hey, if we're directly underneath, we've got an okay position that we can look to basically just tag players as they trickle in. I do think that Crisp and Noxy, though, also like having the option to just utilize one of those rifts to rotate in general.
Yeah, very just unique position. Sometimes, you know, it just plays out like that, right? No two games are ever going to be the same, and that's one of those ones where you just have to make a move and feel comfortable with the decision you make. See if it ends up being the best one. Back on over to Bugha and Aviv. Still at 0 eliminations. But mind you, they have gotten their hands dirty multiple times now into different fights, as we've seen all throughout this game number 2 already. This map awareness here, setting them up for success so far. Look at this, even banking some extra heals for later. Back on over Threats and Duke, who are just pushing their way through a team. So this is an angry Duke and Threats right now. They're just keying their way through a box. They don't want to let the surge determine the game for them. They're trying to take advantage very early. So a very aware team right here.
But there's a lot of pre-existing builds here, Monster. almost draws me to the conclusion that these teams, while it might not necessarily been Duke and Threats fighting the entire time, they definitely managed to stumble across a decent bit of action here. Thoric, the only solo stuck between two different duos, Akechi and Liam on the other side of that. But Liam, Akechi, right now, it just seems as though they're just trying to bide their time. They seem a lot more interested in trying to get across this small body of water over everything else. But with Duke and Threats so close, and in fact, Duke and Threats, they're going to be the first ones to leave. They recognize, hey, we got to cover a lot of ground, and we don't want to get caught on the outside of zone edge.
Look at this. Cold. By himself right now. Tough spot to be in. Seems like Acorn and Cold haven't quite found their footing just yet. They only have a couple games to do so here in this upper bracket. I mean, opportunities really starting to run super thin here and so far below the surge as well. What an uphill battle for Cold here. Yamzo and Rise on the other side have an issue with the surge too, but they're in such a great position to find some tags there, and you know he's going to be a little upset he couldn't find a few there. Might be the only clean opportunity to get one.
Yamzo's going to keep looking though. He's not
camping out this truck right now. Is that what Yamzo's doing? Oh, they know.
I think he knows. Yeah. He's more than aware. Eyes on Oliver OG entirely.
Full knock.
The rate that man was knocked is obscene, and Yamzo's just gonna keep it going. That Thunderburst can just absolutely rip through HP.
Yeah, Oliver OG was legitimate overshield and 200 health. Like, he was as healthy as they come right there. Taken out immediately, a couple headshots, and it's over. For Cold, though, we counted him out. I hope not, because he just found himself not only in elimination, but safe from the surge for the time being. Now at 50 HP, hey, this is enough for him to get active, clearly. He's got a lot of heavy material as well. Eagleeye's got to be careful that he doesn't attract the attention of the server, because it does seem like that's the case right now. Oh, but the builds are coming down. Okay, so Lobby is like, hey, we're going to just break this entire structure. Where are the opponents here? Down to the low ground, Cold goals, and yep, posture's up nice and strong here. Very healthy base. There goes the material. He grabs it first, too. He needs those.
Ooh, that's huge.
Lights, though, and yep, here comes Clicks and Epic Will.
It was huge. It was a lot huger up until Clicks and Epic Will started putting some pressure.
He couldn't get the minis, so that's going to be tough.
That was the worst part, is just not enough time either to try and revisit it. And Acorn and Cold, I mean, this zone pull over near Fencing Fields. Now going up closer to the ruined reels, but it's just tough for Cold right now. Try not to make too much noise.
That's a big find right there. Those minis right here to put Cold in a fighting position. One, to make him feel comfortable, you know what I mean? To make the edit take a peek now.
Ignala's got to be careful. Cold might be looking for a revenge tour up against the player that was just aggroing his boxes, causing so much turmoil here for Cold. And Cold, yeah, this is the full-on aggression that we're so used to seeing out of him. But again, with Clicks and Epic Will directly behind him, and Cold doesn't care. He's more than happy to look for this 1v2 engagement. Eats a massive shot from his backside, though, and it's the damage threshold. Not going to be enough to maintain staying above. So now Clicks and Epic, they'll pick up where Cold left off onto Ignali. That's an easy elim for Epic and Clicks to steamroll through. But so
unfortunate. I think the tags from Clicks and Epic Whales slipped past, obviously, Cold, as he was kind of swinging the wall and broke the back wall without him even realizing. That is, you know, just one of those things you can't really account for right there. So well played for Clicks and Epic Will.
Yeah, definitely an unfortunate circumstance, because if you're solo, you can only pay attention to what's in front of you for the most part. Yeah. It's hard to monitor that backside, and I'm right there with you. It does seem as though Cole just wasn't really able to make much out of it, but Yamzo still hanging out. I mean, we saw this not too long ago with Oliver OG, but Asian Jeff, potentially no. Instead, it's going to be a different team altogether. Grapple blading above Yamzo, and Zhao just had no idea what direction that Thunderburst spray was coming from, but a nice elimination there for Yamzo is going to keep him and Rise well above this surge damage threshold.
Just showing you the power of this Thunderburst. Devastating damage. You get caught out with it. And look, there only 2 elims, but 500 above the surge. Like, no problem. They're going to be comfortable for the remainder of the game here. Now on over to Pamso. Okay, so I was very curious what happened with Pamso and Lawrence in that game number 1. Definitely something went wrong, which is uncharacteristic for Pamso to not make an endgame. Like, this is the type of player who plays very slow, very methodical. He's not going to put himself in a position to get taken out in the mid game, especially. The times we've seen him have a hard time, it's always been in the start of the games when he's been heavily contested. But because he's not at the moment, I want to see if they can keep up the pacing here alongside Lawrence. Right now, they're doing comfortable. They're about the highest, I would say, as far as positioning goes here.
You saw that
ultimate
window
highest,
edit, right?
Yeah,
and then the sniper shot immediately as soon as Pamso made that window edit. That's the risk you take, though, at times. And I kind of can't fault Pamso for maybe second guessing whether he wanted to actually look for peaks that way, but they are going to have to do something soon as far as their damage threshold is concerned. If the lobby isn't elim fast enough. But with the way that Epic and Clix are moving right now, wasting no time, utilizing those launch pads with the Flowberry Fizz to catapult themselves to the front side of zone, get ahead of everybody else. And Clix next to Epic. Massive shot there onto Clix. Actually puts him into the down situation. Threats tried to push it.
That's crazy.
No success here. What a backup.
Tries to jump in on the GOAT Epic himself and gets put down and then saves Clix in the process. That's a ridiculous save right there. What a big moment. What just happened there? Whoa, we just talked about sniper shots that come in, and Mason breaks through the build. They waste no time, and Reet now left wondering what just went wrong.
Mason and MPen are taking no survivors. They just want the eliminations and to keep it moving. And Reet now practically trapped inside of his own box above them. Knows that he can't really afford to move just yet. Just way too many eyes on currently. He's gonna opt to pop a couple of Flowberries instead and try to get a move on now. But Clix and Epic, we saw them jump to that front side of zone. What have they done? Immediately start basing up. And now 2 separate directions that Clix and Epic could potentially look to suppress the rest of the lobby from, but Clix, Epic, definitely still trying to be wary of teams that are looking to grapple onto their builds. Possibly look to apply some pressure as well, and it's Baka and Pars, who looked as though they were gonna get a little active there. Instead, fall to that secondary height layer for the time being. Baka and Pars just doing what they can to maintain a slight safety net amidst all this chaos in the mid-ground layers.
And I respect this from Baka and Pars. They really have to make a big end game here. They need more placement points. They were taken out, again, so early in game number 1. This game 2 is pivotal to at least continue their momentum up, right? And you want to win these games. Nothing else matters right now.
Baka and Pars, though, having that mythic hammer, they might have been the team that actually took out Booga.
Look at this
earlier on.
Epic playing for high ground with 50 matches shows you that, like, a win condition is all that matters. Like, he's willing to come up here and do this. Go for the crazy trades. Go for a wild exchange. Clix comes in to save the day, though. If Clix can't win this fight, I mean, Epic's got nothing to defend himself with.
Those med kits are definitely going to be massive. Clix also dropping the medallion there for his teammate to guarantee him at least a 50 shield regen. While Clix continues, try and tarp ahead. But again, how much tarping can you really do with 3 builds left to your name? Clix and Epic, they need to find another elimination. They need more materials. It's Baka and Pars now struggling a bit on the high ground. Peterbot and Pollo, they recognize that shield crack sound from anywhere. And it's going to be Peterbot now taking over the high ground next to Pollo. will drop momentarily, but it's only because of the fact they're trying to run down to Yamzo and Rise in the process.
Yeah, but you know what? If you're the rest of the lobby, this is what you want. You want teams fighting for height right now. You want teams expending their resources, going through heals, right? Those are all the win conditions that are going to start getting utilized here. For Peterbot and Pollo, they're starting to run out of materials, so this is going to force them into a battle sooner than they would like, especially since they can actually win the game with 3 medkits. Now Yamzo turning up to the high ground here. If they continue this pressure, if he follows his instinct, he might actually be able to turn this game into a full-out brawl in order for it to, come to a conclusion, essentially. Otherwise, Peterbot might just have enough time to go for the full heal off here. Trashy's already decided that he wants to start doing that. Take a look at Epic. He's by himself. He's on the run.
He's not acting like he's by himself entirely, though. The way that he's playing, the way that he's been challenging some other players, Peterbot gonna grapple back up to the high ground. It's gonna be Trashy, in fact.
There it is.
That momentarily dethroned, but again, all the focus right now towards that upper layer. Peterbot just slamming Trashy back to the battle bus, though. Good night, man. That is tragic, but at the same time, if you're Peterbot, that is a come up for sure, because now high ground fully established up above for Peterbot and Pollo. Epic placement points all the way. Just not enough, but the spoiler shot that he might have just connected with, that's a huge spoiler.
Take a look at Jagveer in school. I'm actually so surprised they didn't just actually go out for the fight. The timing couldn't have been better. Pollo goes down first. We already know Peterbot's extremely hurt. Jagveer jumps up, cancels the heal from Peterbot, and gets the full finish. That is how you take a game and turn it into a win.
The way that Jagveer and Sxhool were maneuvering through that ultimate low ground, it seemed like they didn't have much of a plan, but that spur-of-the-moment decision-making to just go for the immediate challenge up against Peterbot. You have no idea what Peterbot's actual health bar might look like, but again, in these kinds of circumstances, there's just no room for hesitation. I love the commitment to the call there to just not waste any hope in the heal-off, because again, you know that you don't have that if you are Jagveer in Sxhool.
Yeah, you know what? And Jagveer in Sxhool they gotta call up Trashy and just say thanks for fighting Peterbot on high ground, by the way. If he didn't do that, they would have 3 med kits. He'd likely have so much more material, and he'd be like somewhere off hidden on the side there. But in the end, they have an opportunity now to go ahead and punch their way right out of this upper bracket with that big win there, just because Peterbot's win condition was tossed right out the window the moment high ground was contested.
Yeah, but again, for Jagveer in Sxhool, they just played it so smart, because I wasn't able to keep tabs on exactly how long they were playing from that ultimate low ground layer, but again, they could hear all the commotion taking place in the layer directly above them, and still they waited until those exact final moments before popping up. Likely even heard the shield break from Epic on his way out.
Yeah, 100%. Well, we've seen it all play out. Another game in the books here. 3 more to go. Let's catch up with Zeke and the crew.